Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. We're coming to you this morning from studios on South Grundy Street in Troy, Alabama, on Facebook, and also in a 12-county area of Alabama, from as high as Lake Martin to as low as Dothan, Geneva. We're coming to you live on Troy Cable. Hope everybody's doing well on this eve of the 4th of July, and it's just around the corner. And of course, want to remind you all that you don't have to go anywhere any further than the Troy Veterans Memorial Stadium to see wonderful fireworks starting at dark tomorrow night. That's the 4th of July. So it's going to be 20 minutes of full fireworks. That's a lot of fireworks, I promise you. And it's going to be right here in Troy. And of course, there are very few places in Troy you can't see the fireworks because they go so high. And of course, if you want to really get a good seat, come out early and set up behind the Trojan Center, that grassy area there, or the Troy University practice field. Would be a good place as long as you clean up your mess. And of course, the middle school has a big area over there, and of course, the fireworks be going off right beyond the Charles Simpson High School band practice field, and that's where they'll shoot the rockets off. And but it should be some good areas, and get out early and bring your cooler and your grill, and should have a lot of fun. Good morning, you're on Today in LA.
Hi, morning.
Mike Amos calling from Northwest Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, calling from Graydon Beach.
Now, are they getting all ready for the 4th down there?
Yeah, I mean, seems like everywhere you go, it's tags from Arkansas and Alabama, and a lot of Texas, a lot of Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee is kind of taking over this 30A area. It's pretty amazing, but it's pretty amazing. My wife and I mentioned several times about all the Texas tags you see.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. And what they're doing, they're driving right through, though, Gulf Shores to get here, aren't they? Is that right?
Well, I mean, you're going on 10, so I don't think you go on through Gulf Shores on 10, but you're going through.
I know it, but you could have easily turned. You could have easily turned and gone to Gulf Shores. Of course, the beaches of Panama City and Destin and Fort Walton.
A lot of people at the grocery store. I'll say that.
Well, are you gonna cook some ribs? What you gonna do?
I don't know. I took steaks last night, and then we had some lady peas that were good. I got
lady peas.
And then, going to go have dinner with some old friends from Troy tonight.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Area, so that should be fun. But excited about the 4th. The girls are going to be in the little Graydon Beach parade, the 4th of July parade.
Oh,
so
that'll be great.
Fun. We're going to decorate their double stroller and put them in it.
And y'all gonna walk them in the parade?
Yeah, we're gonna walk them in the parade.
You gonna be able to make it? How far is the parade route?
It's not that far. It's just around Graydon.
Yeah.
If I can't make that, I've got issues.
Well, is he gonna take you out to the beach, or is he gonna just?
It starts down at the Red Bar, and you just walk around the different streets and stuff.
Yeah, well, that'd be fun.
It's not anything big about it, but it's fun though.
Yeah.
It's something living down here they should be a part of. So we're gonna have them in it.
Let me put you on hold a second and see who this is calling in. Good morning, you're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Mike, it's Max a little bit early this morning. How
Max
you doing?
Howell, how you doing, my friend? How's everything going?
We're doing good. I'm going to have to be on just a short time. I got to be in Montgomery at 11 o'clock today, so I want to call and just chat a few minutes before I get on the road.
Well, have you got some sporting events or some business?
I do this 2 or 3 times a year. My daughter lives in Columbia, South Carolina. She's going to the beach.
Yeah.
And, I meet them in Montgomery because that's
yeah.
3-hour drive either way after that. So
yeah, exactly.
Stay a couple of hours with them and have lunch with them and get a chance to visit. I either catch them going or coming, and they're coming back on Monday, and I got to be out of town again on Monday.
Then you'll turn around and go back to Fulton, Mississippi. Is that right?
Yeah, today I will. That's about 4 hours each way.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's tomorrow's a holiday. And,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You don't have to be anywhere that you don't want to be. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And, we got a big gathering down on the river tomorrow, so I'll be cooking ribs and chicken. And,
oh man, I bet y'all have a good time. Do they play with fireworks down there too?
oh yeah, we got some guys that'll load them up. They'll get loaded, then they load the fireworks.
Yeah, you're right. It'll be a long day. It'll be a fun day though, won't it?
Oh, it will be, Mike. It really will. Look, you've been around a long time. You've got a lot of friends. It's nothing better than, to share holidays like that with family and friends. And the older you get, I think the more you appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. No question about it, Max. Max Howell, one of the renowned radio sports analysts, ladies and gentlemen. He's been in it a long time. And, hey, how many different talk shows do you call every week, Max?
I do about 10, Mike, during the fall.
Yeah.
I do. During the off season, I do about 3 a week. You first, usually every Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And I usually do one over in Tuscaloosa with Wimp Sanderson.
Yeah, that's right.
Then I usually hit the other side, usually the Lawrence, or even all the way over to Oxford and sometime Opelika. I just kind of pick and choose those days. In the off season, my whole deal is football. We talk about the off season programs and that kind of thing, and the recruiting and all that. But now we're getting ready to get into the real stuff.
Oh yeah, no question.
My activity to pick up a little.
In fact, Max, after the 4th of July, most everybody starts going to the office and the vacations are over with. Is that right, or do they?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. That we always deem that, from the coach's standpoint, any downtime other than camps that you're having, June is kind of coming cold, not a strict schedule other than your camp time. But after the 4th, it's at least 6 days a week after that. Then by the time August comes around, it's 7 days a week.
That's right. And all the plans. Something else. Do they do that like they did in the old days? Each coach is responsible for a certain game. Do they still do that, or how do they do it?
Here's the difference. So, Mike, they have so many off-field at the big programs now. They got so many off-field people that keep those tapes broken down, and your job's a lot easier. You still have that responsibility, but I just read a breakdown on Ole Miss stuff. What they do, they assign each coach like 3 or 4 guys to work, with their game in their recruiting area throughout the year. And he's an offensive line coach, and he's got 5 counties he's responsible for, 2 states or whatever. They got 4 guys that never go on the field that stay in touch with those people year round.
Yeah, with these,
it's a little bit easier.
With those guys now, and of course, I reckon it's unlimited how many you can have as far as these analysts. But that makes it a lot easier. But these analysts will work the different games. Isn't that right?
Let me tell you what goes with that is you would get is pressure. The pressure to recruit the top players, and the pressure to win. You can just go across the country and look at those all-field staffs, and you're absolutely right. There's no NCAA's never tried to regulate that. I predict one day that's going to come. They'll say, you can have 10 or 15. I think Alabama's got 40 on-field guys that work with. Most of them are not most of them. A lot of them have been head coaches. Coach Saban decided, gave a second chance for whatever reason, and gotten, those guys have gotten better jobs after they left there.
Yeah. All right, Max, I'm going to put you on hold. Mike Amos is trying to get through. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Here we go, right here. Good. And we got a hold here. Right here. Right here. Okay, I think I got both of you. Is that right? Have I got you? No, I don't. Hold on 1 minute. There we go. Sorry about that, Max.
That's okay.
I messed it up again. This phone. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Of course,
Mike, it's got a mind of its own now.
yeah, no question about it. Of course, I know you're gonna be cooking some ribs, aren't you? What is your plan?
We'll do ribs and chicken breast, and I'll probably throw some link sausage on there as well.
All right,
the guys love that. You know, we'll have a tradition. I do mustard potato salad with this group, and they'll do coleslaw. Some of the women will bring coleslaw for that one, and we'll do garlic bread, and you know, the good one on an event like this, there'll be like 3 or 4 different desserts.
Do you base everything with vinegar? Do you have a vinegar base, or how do you do it?
I do 2 sides of ribs. I do vinegar and salt, and vinegar and brown sugar. Because everybody doesn't, you know, some people got high blood pressure, and all they don't want the salt.
Yeah.
So I just throw a little brown sugar to give it a little sweeter taste. But that vinegar is what.
But you make your own sauce, and it's a vinegar, sort of a vinegar-based sauce.
I baste it every time I turn them.
Yeah.
I baste it with it. I got one of those hand mops, and I sop them good. Man.
Yeah. Okay.
And I pull the lid down on the grill and let it crisp over.
Yeah, I know you got a cool one sitting by you somewhere, isn't it? You got a cool one.
Well, that's usually that goes with it.
Hey, let me ask this: corn on the cob's a big thing this time of year too.
Yeah, we do that. We'll do that, and I'll tell you what I've learned. I'll do some on the grill, but most of my group now got one like it done in the oven. And let me tell you how. I got some that still like it just butter. Take it, roll it up in tinfoil, put the butter on, roll it up, and throw it on the grill. But I got some now that'll take a corn, they'll peel the corn, the corn down to and get the shuck off, and bathe it in mayonnaise and wrap it in tinfoil. I'm telling you, it gives you a different taste, and it's as sweet as it can be.
Yeah.
And I just learned that trick in the last year or so.
You know, when Bud was living, you know, he had that Auburn that corn that was some guy from Auburn got it. It's called Silver Queen. Have you heard of Silver Queen corn?
Oh yeah, man.
You know, the kind when you bite into a Silver Queen corn on the cob, you're eating a lot of corn.
You're right. That's about all these people down here eat.
And boy, that is wonderful. And what they would do, they just throw it into a boiler with butter and salt and pepper and whatever, and just let it just boil right there, you know.
Yeah, and I got some that'll throw throw corn, shuck, and all on the top of the grill.
Oh yeah.
Cook it in the shuck.
Yeah, no question.
And these people like it different ways, and it depends on what time of the afternoon we eat. The later we eat,
I know. I understand what you mean. Okay. Of course, now you're going to finish it all up with that delicious dessert. Tell us about it.
Well, Mike, we're going to have like 4 today. I've already checked with them yesterday. We got the big one on 4th of July is key lime pie, though.
Yeah.
That's what they love.
And do y'all make it from scratch, or do y'all go by Publix and buy it?
No, we make it from scratch up here. See, we don't have the pie places on the beach like y'all do.
Yeah.
I used to buy mine already done because you couldn't beat even Publix had the.
But you know how to bake a key lime pie.
Well, let me tell you, you do the crust first.
Yeah.
Then you mix it up, and all I do is if I want just a brown on my meringue on top, I'll just stick it back in there. We serve some kind of warm. But most people like it straight in the refrigerator.
Yeah, that's right.
They want that fresh. See, they want that fresh taste after a heavy meat meal from the grill. So and then we'll have an apple pie. I already talked to them. Then one lady always makes a big fruit pie with blackberries and blueberries and all.
Man, yeah.
And all that'll have. By the way, all that'll be warm. We got an outside oven. They'll keep that in the oven, bring it out, and top it with ice cream.
Oh man. Well, now you're gonna have your famous recipe though, aren't you? You'll have it, won't you?
The big one, the famous one, is the Mississippi mud pie.
Yeah.
Now, but remember, Mike, that is heavy. And remember, they've already had a heavy meal.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Don't do too much of that.
Now, is your ice cream homemade ice cream? Is it homemade?
Homemade ice
Oh
cream.
boy.
They don't turn it by hand anymore.
I tell you what, y'all know how to do it now. I'm telling you.
Let it churn. Yeah, that's it's quite a doing.
Does anybody ever go jump in the river though? Do they jump in the river while you're doing that?
This river is a barge. I mean, it's a navigable river. It barges up down that river all day and night.
Yeah.
You don't need to. And the Corps engineers don't let you swim in it. They'll let the boat ski.
Now let me ask you a personal question. Will there be any watermelon, ice cold watermelon?
Absolutely, man. There's going to be cold watermelon.
It wouldn't be the 4th without cold watermelon, would it?
Yeah, we usually use that as a kind of a warm-up. That's our hors d'oeuvre.
I got you.
And most all these guys got big gardens, and they grow them.
Yeah.
And it's quite an undertaking.
So this is I know it's a big, probably next to Christmas. The 4th, the biggest day of the year for you, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I get there about 1 o'clock. We'll probably eat about 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little later. Depends on how much entertainment's going on.
Yeah.
But right now, around 4 o'clock.
A lot of pretty girls, Max. A lot of pretty girls.
Well, you got to remember, Mike, most of these guys are my age. They've outgrown the pretty.
Hey, Max, you're almost 80 years old, aren't you?
I'll be 80 my next birthday.
Oh, boy, that's hard to believe now. That's hard to believe because you're in good shape.
Well, I've been fortunate, Mike. I've taken care of myself pretty well. And
I know you have.
I'm still working 60 or 70 hours a week.
Well, listen, we're excited about everything, and we'll be talking to you next week about this same time, hopefully, and look forward to it, my friend. And
Mike, always my pleasure. You and your family have a happy 4th of July, and I really enjoy being on the show.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you now. Boy.
That's Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi, one of the top sports analysts in the country. Mike, I worked it and tried to get you in, and I'm sorry. I messed up.
That's all right.
Tell us what's going on in the sports world, Mike. Troy University announced their final.
Basically, everybody's just trying to get through the 4th, and then kind of football starts. You got an SEC media day starting up, and I think not next week, the next in Hoover.
Yeah. Wanted to make a few announcements, Mike. First of all, I want you to tell everybody how Coach Cunningham and his group's going to be, and we're so proud that they were able to hook on with a good program.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned yesterday that they Coach Grant and Coach Cunningham are now on the staff of Western Kentucky, so they'll be with the Hilltoppers, and Rick Stansberry, who was head coach of Mississippi State. So Cunningham was there for 12 years under Stansberry, and Grant was there for 8. So this is basically familiar territory for them, coaching under Stansberry, and of course.
You watch that Western Kentucky program; that's going to get good.
Of course, a lot of people don't realize that Troy went to Western Kentucky and beat Western Kentucky last year in basketball. That's one of the more unbelievable stories about last basketball season. Probably one of the most talented teams Troy has had to go on the road and win at Western Kentucky, and then they went on the road and beat UAB for the first time.
That's right.
Kind of just a strange season, to say the least. Of course, they ended up winning 14 games, and Coach Cunningham and his staff were let go. But tells you what could have been, I guess, more than anything.
Well, and of course, my good friends in Atlanta now. That's a good program. Going to be
Ben Fletcher's at Kennesaw State. We mentioned that as well. So I mean, it's one of those things where Coach Cunningham, I think, had 2 years left on his contract. So I guess Troy might be paying him to coach at Western Kentucky. I don't know how that works.
I don't know how it works either, but he did well, no question. Also, they've added the last person to the staff, Coach Marshall Morehouse and Coach Trent Patterson are the last two to hire on here at Troy. And, of course, Trent Patterson is going to be the
native of Dauphin, so he, I think, was a GA last year.
That's right. He's going to work with the video coordinator. And then Morehouse, Mike, tell us about him.
He came for Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So he was basically on the staff when Don Maestri was there. Don Maestri recommended him to Coach Cross, so it's all about connections.
Yeah, no question about it. And so now all the staff is there. Morehouse is a native of Corpus Christi, and he, like you said, he was at Texas A&M and was promoted to the video coordinator, and then now he'll be working as the graduate. Patterson will be the graduate assistant, and Morehouse will be a full-time hire. Is that right?
coordinator, and then Millhouse is over basketball operations.
Yeah. Want to mention, of course, there'll be some camp. Patterson began his career serving as camp coach, and that's important to have somebody that knows how to put on these big camps, and that's what he's done in the past at New Mexico State and Virginia Commonwealth. And he's a native, actually, of Dothan, so that's good, don't you think?
Yeah, it is.
And
Patterson was on the staff last year as a GA.
Yeah. And we're all getting ready now. And, of course, all the coaches are enjoying this week off, and they pretty much go back to work on Monday. And if things start happening before long, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be time to get ready. Of course, August 17th, Mike, is your big birthday party. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to have that down in Grayton. Of course, we got a lot of...
yeah, but now, and of course, Troy...
We got a lot of preparing and setting up to do before that. I've also got my little daughter, Mary Prater's birthday that weekend as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly right. Troy University...
have a lot going on.
Troy University's Fan Day is the 15th of August, and they'll also have their drawdown, and so it's also a big day at Troy University, and of course they'll have a big scrimmage and so forth as they get ready for the home opener against Campbell University, and of course everybody is celebrating the 4th of July. Now, you folks that are members of the Troy University National Alumni Association and the Pike County Troy University Alumni Association, and anybody that wishes to come over and join us at the Alumni House, we're going to be cooking hot dogs and have some good food over there starting around 6 o'clock tonight. And then, of course, the big fireworks starts as soon as it's dark. Mike, you grew up in Troy, but you've been to a lot of other places during the 4th. In fact, I've been to the biggest of them all, and that was Washington, D.C.
Majority of my life, I was always at the beach during the 4th of July.
Were you with us? Were you with us when we?
My memories.
Okay, were you with us when we went to the Capitol of in Washington for the 4th of July? Were you with us?
No, that must have been a Johnny Williams trip.
Well, might have been. And, but that was probably, if you want to celebrate the 4th, that would probably be the best place to do it. Maybe the busiest place to do it.
Yeah, different towns do different things. I mean, I know that they'll have the barge out in front of Seaside doing the fireworks show, and then of course down in Sunnyside Laguna, you'd better watch it out at Pier Park. They'll be doing a big fireworks show down here. Of course, places in Sandestin and Destin. It's kind of cool. Sometimes you can look up and down the beach. You can look towards the west and look towards the east and see fireworks show. Yeah. 20 miles away.
But and of course, these great fireworks. But let me tell you this: if you can't go to the beach, Troy, the city of Troy, puts on as good a fireworks as anybody, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've been there for a fireworks show during the 4th, but I know I've been there when they've had other fireworks show, and definitely.
Sure,
they do a great one.
Surely you would have been there for the 4th before, because
I don't know, our whole life I felt like we were at the beach for the 4th of July that I always remember, but I don't know.
Maybe that's so. But I'll tell you this right now: you folks that are going to be here at home, you'll see as good a fireworks as anywhere.
It really is all about how it falls. Unfortunately, the 4th falls on a Thursday. And a lot of people take that Friday off, but some people don't. So some people do have to stay in town. I think. That's when I have run into it before. It's like when I lived in Birmingham and I worked. The 4th might have fell on like a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tell you this.
We had to go to work the next day.
Some of the best parties I've ever been to were the 4th of July parties. Of course, I've spent a lot of them at the beach, but right here in Troy, you can have your own party. Just get out there early and start cooking, and get your chairs and tables, and just set up camp and get ready for a great
I know Birmingham does Thunder on the Mountain, on Red Mountain. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Have that live on television, and the Vulcan is lit up, and they did the fireworks around there. That's pretty neat to see.
Yeah, no question.
I know a lot of people that work downtown, and the big buildings downtown would have rooftops, and I remember going up on a rooftop one time for a big party, and that was pretty fun to watch
Yeah, no question about it. Want to mention
one thing we do need to say, you got to be careful with fireworks. They're extremely dangerous. You got to have an adult, especially if there's any kids out there fooling
no
around.
question.
I know when I was young, we were really stupid with them, and a lot of us were very lucky.
No question about it. And, of course...
that was the shortest Max Hall call ever. What was he doing? Just calling to wish you a happy
Well,
Fourth?
I kept seeing you on hold, and we went ahead and got you off back on the air. And, of course...
we couldn't three-way do
well,
three-way
you know,
call?
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So that's a problem with me.
Maybe I should give you a new phone up there for a gift, a late birthday present.
Troy will open up their tournament with the against the Municipal American out of Mobile, beginning at 6 o'clock on Friday in Decatur, and this is the 8 and under team. And of course, some of the coaches are Troy Jenwright, Todd Copeland, Brian Davis. The players are Porter Beasley, Ryan Copeland, Cole Davis, Ethan Gardner, Brandon Brandon Golden, Drew Jenwright, Cope Russell, Connor Sanders, Markel Tolles, Tyreen Tony, J.D. Vaughn, and Drayton Wingard represent that 8 and under team that will be playing in Decatur starting this weekend. So congratulations to them. Another group of tournament action, and of course we've mentioned these folks before, but the Troy team coached by Coach Presswood is the junior Dixie boys are coached by Kevin Adams, Sean Gunner, and Barry Jones. The players include Parker Adams, Hayden Adamson, Jackson Cleveland, Benton Dunn, Houston Gunner, Connor Jones, Davis Menifee, Braden Presswood, Bradley Presswood, Keldon Singleton, and Myers Tyler. And Troy will open their tournament against Dothan. So that will be coming up very soon, and we'll be watching that too. Out of the 14 teams that Troy sent to the tournament play, Dixie Boys tournament play, all of them except for 2 teams made it to the state championships, which start this week. So what a start for Troy's rec teams, Mike. Only 2 did not make it to the state championships, and they start this week. There were out of 14, 12 teams are still in the tournament, going to the state tournament. That is impressive.
I was looking at college bowl records all time, and of course Alabama leads for most bowl games ever played. But you know, I forget sometimes that Troy's actually played in 8 bowl games. Pretty amazing.
That's pretty good. What's their bowl record?
5-3.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, no question about it.
I mean, you look at Troy. You know, they played in 8. UAB's only played in 3.
Yeah, exactly. I want to remind you that the bank.
Alabama's played in 70.
Yeah. All banks will be closed tomorrow, and also you folks that I don't know how you handle the garbage deal. I didn't see any garbage cans out, so I didn't put any out, but I'm sure there's going to be a special day to handle your garbage, so call 311. Let me see if I can get you at 311. I'll put you on hold, Mike. Let's see if that'll get it in. Well, let's see here. Let's just dial 9. They might not have opened their doors yet. We're calling 311.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized.
We'll go back to this. We'll get it straight before long. But do me a favor, call 311 up there and see what kind of garbage pickup do we have today. And of course, I want to mention Bird Drugs on the counter and on the square in downtown Troy. and a good friend of mine was with us this week.
You used to be able to sit at the counter up there, I would imagine.
That's right, but boy, the food is still good, and some friends of mine were here, and we went by there. And let me tell you another thing. Their scooped ice cream is the best in town too. I mean, they can scoop out. I mean, they got about 8 or 10, maybe 12 different varieties of ice cream. Of course, you know you love the milkshake, and they do a great job with that. But boy, their strawberry ice cream and their butter pecan are wonderful. And if you want to just take a break in the afternoon, go by there and have a delicious ice cream from Bird Drugs. Of course, I want to mention two very important, Mike, is what's cooking at Piggly Wiggly. And here are your for sale products. Remember, cost plus 10%. Fresh fryer leg quarters, great for barbecuing, $4.95. Boneless ribeye steaks are $7.98 a pound. That's a family pack. Lean small pork spare ribs for your grill, $1.59 a pound. Boston butts, boy, here the Boston butts are just $1.29 a pound at Piggly Wiggly today. Locations on the marketplace on the bypass right here in Troy or on North 39th Street right here in Troy. Fresh fryer wings, delicious on the grill. St. Louis style ribs also just $2.39 a pound at Piggly Wiggly. And then the Sunnyland Jumbo Meat Franks, boy, a 16-ounce container, 90 cents. What a buy there. And then, of course, the ribs are on sale. The catfish are on sale. And, of course, a lot of other items are on sale. The charcoal and your corn and your, for you folks going out and picnicking or setting up camp outside of the fireworks area, it should be a lot of fun. You know, you make anything, Mike, you make it what it is. If you want a big party, you can make it with a big party by including more people. If you want a cozy party, just 5 or 6 people or 3 or 4 couples, you know, just all you need is a table, a grill, and a cooler, and some chairs, and you got it. Don't you agree?
That's true. If anybody wants to watch former Troy great Jordan Bernardo play on ESPN with the Toronto Raptors Summer League team, which will be held in Las Vegas at the Thomas & Mack Center, this game will be, he's one of 15 players on the team. This game will be played at 11 p.m. on Saturday night. So if anybody can't go to bed and you want to see Jordan Bernardo play on ESPN in the Summer League, you can do that come Saturday night.
Mike, he's definitely talented.
Unfortunately, I'll probably be asleep. I don't stay up past 10 much anymore.
Former Troy basketball player Caitlin Ramirez is also playing for Nike 7 basketball, and that was a great honor for her to be named to that team. She's 6'2", center from Shawnee, Oklahoma, and what a player she was. Of course, the U.S., Mike, is just one win away from another women's championship in soccer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the World Cup, they beat England yesterday, and they'll play for it all, I guess, this weekend. I'll have to look and see who they're playing, but you know, I think they're undefeated again. I mean, they won the last World Cup as well. Just can't really get into soccer, but I'll have to maybe flip the channel and watch a little bit of it.
Yeah. I reckon I need to call Rebecca Amos and get some input on Wimbledon. Of course, Auburn got a couple of more commitments. I tell you what, Auburn's recruiting some good players, Mike.
Troy got a big commitment. Wide receiver, free safety, Montarius Hill, out of Pine Forest High School in Pensacola, Florida, is committed to Troy. So 6'2", 186. And I've watched some highlights on him. He looks really athletic.
Yeah, he's a senior. He'll be a senior this year. He'll be a senior this year, though, so he's not eligible to play right now, is he?
No, but I mean, 2020 commitments is just amazing. I mean, Troy's going to have their whole recruiting class ready to sign come December. I mean, they've done an unbelievable job recruiting these new coaches up.
Yeah. The top golfers out.
Anytime you get a kid out of Pensacola, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. No question about it. You know, it's easy to pick the top 10 players in golf. Matt Kuchar, number 1. This is the FedEx Cup series.
Yeah, I would consider Matt Kuchar a top 10 golfer. I mean, he might be leading this year, but, I mean, the guy's never won a major. So I would definitely not put him in the top 10.
Well, Brooks Koepka is number 2. Rory McIlroy 3. Xander Schauffele number 4. This is the FedEx Cup. Gary Woodland is 5. Cantley is 6. Dustin Thompson 7th. Paul Casey 8. Justin Rose 9, and Richie Fowler 10. You know, you look at golf, and of course you look down, and there are 20 to 30 top-notch golfers out there. Don't you agree?
Yeah,
I mean they can win a tournament on any.
20 guys that can win at any time. Yeah, I would say that.
And I mean, what I'm saying is real competitive. You know, people say, well, why will Tiger ever make it back? No way, because of the competition. The competition is much greater than when he was having his heyday. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but I guess Tiger made it back. He won the Masters, so
I know.
He's won another major, so I guess he's made it all the way back.
I know it. You know, you look at some.
Yeah, they're playing in the 3M Open this week in Blaine, Minnesota. Some new tournament I've never even heard of.
Oh gosh, you're right.
They played in Detroit last week, but Koepka and Mickelson and a bunch of really good players are playing in it, so it should be fun to watch.
Yeah,
see what happens.
I was in Ozark the other day, and you know it's amazing how certain towns do certain things. They love tennis in Ozark. A lot of people play tennis. They sure don't do that in Troy.
I actually enjoyed playing tennis in my 20s. I haven't played probably since then, but it's great exercise.
Yeah, no question about it. But in Troy, we've got all these great facilities, and not many people play. Of course, it's hot, very hot.
I remember when I moved to Birmingham, Richard Callahan and I from Troy were roommates, and we used to go to the Best Sabia High School because we lived off Rocky Ridge Road, and it'd be 20 to 5 degrees outside, and we'd play tennis because you could turn the lights on at the high school, and it really is great exercise.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course,
it's one of those things where I can't imagine actually having like a decent racket and stuff. I'd always just go buy something at Walmart or Target or something like that to play with. But there's a lot of people that play tennis every day of their lives. You know, Sonny Smith's a huge tennis player. I remember when he used to do the Sonny and Whip show, the former Auburn coach. He plays tennis every day.
Well, it's definitely good for you. You know what else is good for you? Is dancing, like the old bop that we do now.
I mean, that's considered like aerobics, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah. So, you know, and that's a fun way to exercise. You know, it's a lot of things out there. I was over at the Troy Sportsplex yesterday afternoon. Beautiful facility, one of the nicest in the state of Alabama. Of course, they've got all those great baseball fields and soccer fields and girls softball fields. We're going to have next Tuesday on our show the team that's probably one of the top tournament teams in the history of Troy athletics, or Troy recreation, is the great 15-year-old team, Mike, and the softball team, and they'll be playing for the state championship, and we'll be looking forward to that. And I'm gonna mention their names also in just a few
It's hard to mention all these different tournament teams. You could just do a whole show on that one day.
No question about it, and.
Didn't you have a team that was supposed to sell cakes this week, and they sold them all before the show?
Yeah, they sold them all before the show. We were supposed to do it yesterday, and he called me up and said, "Man, we're out of cakes." But and hopefully this team, what's the big girls softball team, Mike?
I don't know, Dixie Bells.
The Dixie Bells. That's who it is. The Dixie Bells will be here on Tuesday, and we look forward to that. And of course, they're going to another state championship. And I tell you, Mike, a lot of these coaches are still coaching, and they don't even have a player in the game. You know, they're not a parent. And the Bells coach is one of the tops around. And
I was wondering when you hear about these Dixie Bells, like where are all these kids from? Because it's not like Charleston, Henderson is like.
Some of them from Goshen, some of them from Brundage.
It's like dominant in softball.
Yeah.
So I was always wondering, are these kids like at other high schools throughout the counties, or
they come, like I said, they come from Charles Henderson, Pike Liberal Arts, Goshen. They come from Arrington, Brantley.
I mean, GW Long wins state championships every year in softball.
That's right. You could get their pitchers. But I don't think they play in this league. But that GW Long pitcher could pitch for anybody.
I know Zion Chapel used to have good softball teams.
Yeah, they do. And of course, Troy Rec ball is really, really good. And the Dixie Bells will be playing soon for another state championship if they can get by some big, tough competition this week. But it's fun to keep up with these teams. And like I said, I was by the Sportsplex yesterday, and I walked through there. I'm going to give you sort of a rundown of what we got right here in Troy. When I walked in, of course, a big, beautiful lobby, and we walked back, and they were playing two games of basketball back there in the beautiful basketball facilities. Then I took my left, and I walked all the way to the back, and that's where they keep their free weights and their machine weights and all the walking machines. There's probably 40 walking machines total, where you can walk and watch TV at the same time. Great place to exercise. And then there's one of Scott Westfall's favorite places is racquetball. There are 2 racquetball courts, and he loves racquetball. And then during the time, you ladies out there, if you don't have a babysitter, well, they've got people that'll babysit for you right there. They have a kiddies room, and they have a supervisor in there, and so you can bring your small children, not your real small children, but the kids that like to play with toys, well, they can work out. I mean, they can play with toys while you're working out. But then they've got a wonderful swimming facility, an indoor Olympic-sized swimming pool with, and of course, got about 5 or 6 lifeguards. And then it goes into another pool out on the outside, which is an Olympic-sized freshwater pool. The Troy Recreation swim team was working out yesterday, and they had about 50 kids out there. And they have an outstanding rec program in swimming. And then they've got a water spout, Mike, at the end of the pool where it just gushes out all kinds of water from these.
Like a splash pad?
Yeah, like a splash pad, and it's really, really nice. And then...
my kids are big fans of splash pads.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've already talked about that huge baseball and softball and soccer complex right next to it, but also a walking trail, Mike, that is 2 miles long, and it is a beautiful place to walk. But all of this, along with great parking, and now, like you said the other day, with the new road coming off George Wallace Drive and coming off of Franklin Drive, that can get you there without having to go all the way down the bypass. It is a wonderful, wonderful setup for Troy and Troy Rec Ball. And now...
We also got a big, tall 6'4" guy out there that pitched in the major leagues for 7 years that...
Brian Meadows.
Could probably be the best baseball pitching coach in Troy or in Pike County if anybody ever needed a lesson.
No question about it. And, of course... we're proud to have that here in Troy and to have those kind of facilities. And
I mean, they're extremely nice. I wish we'd have had something like that when I was growing up.
Well, again, you can go out there from 8 o'clock.
When I was growing up, all we could do is go to the natatorium at Troy University, which wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong, but I wish we had a sportsplex when I was little.
They also have a kindergarten program, certain ages. I don't know. I want to say from age 5 to 8 or 9. And they have, over close to 100 kids in that program, and they'll keep that kid from 8 to 5. Can you believe that? 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock. And then, of course, you folks that want to bring your family or some of your kids in the neighborhood, you can. There's places where you can eat lunch and so forth, and enjoy the pool and swim classes, aerobics classes for swimmers. They've just got it all and well planned, and Dan Smith, the rec director, does a great job. And he'll be the guy in charge of the fireworks. He does it every year, and he's just wonderful. Of course, the 8 and under state baseball championships start here on Friday. That's for 8 and under coach pitch, and there'll be teams from all over the state here for that. And then the Ozone, the 11 and 12-year-old Ozone starts next week with their state championship, and that will be one of the biggest tournaments around. You'll have teams from Montgomery. You'll have teams from as far away as Huntsville and Tuscaloosa, Mobile, Andalusia, Dothan. This will be great tournament baseball starting next week with the Dixie Youth Ozone team. And as we...
I was going to mention Major League Baseball is coming up on the All-Star break, too, and I have all the standings if you want me to go over that.
Yeah. Let's do, but another thing, give us an idea of when the Braves will be in town. Are they in town this weekend?
They're in town right now playing the Phillies, so
all right,
it's a big series. They actually got beat last night 2-0, which is hard to believe.
All right, so they'll have their baseball game tomorrow, plus they'll have a big fireworks.
Of course, the Yankees were playing in London against the Boston Red Sox. I'm sure a lot of their fans were traveling over to London to see a historic first baseball game over there, where she had two of the greatest, I guess, organizations ever in baseball when you had Yankees and the Red Sox. Yankees are just running away with it. They're 25 games over 500, 54 and 29.
Yeah, they really are.
Tampa Bay is second in the East, 5.5 back. In the Central, Minnesota is running away with it as well. They're 53 and 31. Second is Cleveland, 7 games back. In the West, Houston Astros. It's still hard for me to believe that Houston Astros are in the American League. They're 54 and 32.
And you know, and the crazy thing about all of that is that they were in the National League and they weren't worth a flip. In the American League, they're lights out. Let me put you on hold a minute, Mike. Got a call coming in.
World Series.
Let me get this call real quick. Good morning, y'all. Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Will Matthews calling in from Ozark. Are you in Ozark or Dothan?
I'm between Ozark and Dothan.
All right, well, let me put you on hold and bring Mike Amos in at the same time, so we'll have both of you on hold. And now we'll go from 1 to 1 to 1 and 1 to 1 right here. I got you. I got both of you, don't I?
Got me.
How about you, Will?
Got me. Oh, yeah, you got
All
me.
right, now see, Will Matthews calling in from Ozark. We were talking about recreation baseball, Will. I know you grew up in recreation baseball in Ozark until you had a real tough thing happen to you. I want you to know that Troy is 8 and under. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a picture of these guys that will be playing in the state tournament starting on Friday night in Troy. These are 8 and under kids playing for a state championship. Will, your baseball career came to a halt in a hurry, didn't it?
Yeah, I was 14.
Coffee.
I was a pitcher, and I got a line drive right between the eyes that shattered my nose. And I ended up having surgery in Atlanta.
You had to go to Atlanta, Georgia to have your surgery?
Yeah. Back then, they didn't have plastic surgeons like
Oh, yeah, I know it, yeah.
And the doctor told my dad it's going to take 2 operations, 5 hours each. So anyway, I go in for the first operation, and he comes out after about 4 hours, and he said, I think this boy's strong enough we can do both of them at the same time. So what they did, I was under the knife for 9 hours.
Oh, boy.
And when I came back about a month later, they pulled the packing out of my nose and all that, and blood went everywhere. I mean, I fainted on the table.
Thank you.
Anyway, the doctor said, well, your baseball career is over. But if you ever got hit there again, it could kill you. And I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he said, have you ever tried golf? I said, and that's how I started. In 1 year, Mike, I became a scratch golfer. I probably hit 10,000 golf balls.
Boy, oh boy.
There's no telling how many golf balls I
hit. And your idols were Warren Hanchey, Mickey Red, Dave O'Neill, even Jimmy Shirley.
Yeah, they were older than I was. And
people don't realize this, and I would never ask you this, but, Jimmy Shirley, the first game of golf he ever played was with me over the old college course, and he sort of took off with it, and I didn't. But at one time, I was better than he was until he started taking off, and then he started getting lessons from, all these great pros up in Montgomery and Dothan, and became a good golfer. Tell me, you know about Jimmy Shirley. You remember how good he was?
Let me tell you how I learned. My dad went to Dothan Country Club and talked to the golf pro.
Was it Scuddy Horner? Was his name Scuddy Horner, or what was his name?
That was the guy from Montgomery.
Okay.
This guy's name was Fred Suttle. He's still
Oh yeah.
He lives in Louisville, Kentucky.
Fred Suttle.
He's in his 80s now, probably. Anyway, he had Mondays off, so he came to Ozark and taught me. He went to Brundage and taught Bill Hamrick and Ronnie Mobley.
That's right.
Went to Andalusia and taught the Anthonys and the Hancocks.
Yeah.
And he would just make a loop on Mondays and pick up some extra money.
Then he had all those golfers out of Montgomery that were good too.
Yeah, he was a great teacher though.
Yeah.
And I played my first tournament at 15 years old. I'd only been playing golf a year, and I'd never played the tournament. And they got me in the Future Masters, and in the 15-16, I led the tournament after 2 days. But I made a mistake, and I've never forgotten it. I gave an interview to the newspaper about my story and all that, and I got to seeing how great I was and all that, and I shot like a 78 the last day.
If you hadn't been hit with the ball, would you have been a good one? Were you a real good pitcher?
Oh, yeah. I was the tallest kid in my class. I was 6'3" when I was 14.
Yeah, no question about it.
What about the kid at the Future Masters that shot the 61? Dad and I are trying to figure out what's the lowest round ever at the Dothan Country Club.
59.
Who shot that? Do you know?
Well, the guy owns a driving range in Dothan, and he used to be a pro, and he's not anymore, but he's a member out there, and he shot a 59 one day.
Yeah.
Who's that, the Broadway kid?
No, I'm trying to think of his name.
But wasn't that amazing that kid shot a 61 in a tournament play like that?
And you know what? He didn't win the tournament.
Yeah. The kid that won the tournament was from Selma. And people forget how many great golfers over the years have come out of Selma. That's a beautiful country club over at Selma.
And, the guy from Selma shot a 62 on the second day.
Yeah.
He shot a 69, a 62, and a 69.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Dove kid from Dothan is a big time out of Houston Academy. He's one of the top golfers in the country, isn't he, for his age?
Yeah. He's going to Auburn next year.
And then the other kid from Dothan is going to Alabama, isn't he?
Alabama, right? Yeah.
Well,
there's a kid from Arizona that was competing in the Future Masters that's going to Troy. How in the world does that happen?
But and we'll be the first one to tell you, and we'll play that Vanderbilt. But Troy's never been a slouch in golf, have they, Will?
When we were at Vanderbilt, we had a very good team at Vanderbilt. And the team at Troy would have waxed us by 30 strokes, probably.
I mean, they were really good, no question about it. Coached by.
Back then, Mike, they were not allowed to play with the big schools.
Yeah, because they were NAI at the time, I think, or Division II.
And they let them play one time, and it was at the Chris Jankel over in Statesburg, Georgia. And they let Troy come, and Troy lost to Florida by 1 stroke, and Florida had Andy Bean, Gary Koch. They just had a tremendous team, and they lost by 1 stroke.
A lot of people don't realize how good a golfer.
Is that where Koch played, the announcer? He played at Florida?
Yes, he played at Florida.
He's one of my favorite golf announcers.
Well, he is known. Was it him that was known for missing the 2-foot putt at the Masters?
No, that's Scott
Hope.
All right, I get those mixed up. Bless his heart. He's had to live with that all his life, hasn't he?
And he has, and
tell him about Scott Hope. Tell him about what he did.
He missed a 2-footer on number 10 in the sudden death playoff, and he had a 5-footer coming back and made it. People forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
From the hole and lifted out and had a 5-footer coming back, and then made that, and then the next hole, Faldo made about a 20-footer for a birdie and beat.
All right, who is my buddy that shot a 59? Dale, what's his name?
Gauberger.
Yeah, Garberger, and I saw him at the Regions and talked to him a long time.
Well, shoot, Jim Furyk shot a 58. Justin Thomas shot a 59. Stuart Appleby shot 59. A lot of people shot 59 now.
Well, when did he shoot a 58? That is phenomenal.
Furyk shot 58 about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, would the Dothan Country Club have a tournament on the 4th? Troy usually does.
No, they don't. They've got an invitational in August.
Yeah, exactly right. You're talking to Will Matthews and.
So as far as competing in the future Masters, what are the ages? Do they have a younger division and then they have an older division?
Oh yeah, 0 to 18.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to talk about towns, and we're going to talk about great golfers that came out of those towns. Ozark, Alabama. Will Matthews. Who else was a competitive golfer out of Ozark back in the from 60s to 80s?
Yeah, Billy Blackwell was a great golfer.
Well, was that the mayor, Billy Blackwell, or who?
He was the mayor, yes. He was a city clerk for years, and then he was the mayor for 8 years.
All right, then that football coach there was a good golfer.
Buddy Cranford was a great golfer.
How about your cousins? Your cousin was a good golfer, wasn't he?
Sam Carroll was a good golfer.
Sam Carroll. That's what I was going to say. Sam Carroll was a good golfer. Enterprise had Mickey Red.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm not through with those.
All right, okay. All right, go to Ozark.
They had Walter Novak. He played at Auburn. He was a very good golfer.
Now, that was at the old 9-hole course. Is that right?
Right.
And that was located right behind the shopping center there on 231, wasn't it?
And Walter Novak helped design the new course out where the country club is now.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to Opp, Alabama. Who can you remember out of Opp, Alabama?
Clemens was a good golfer.
Craig Clemens, of course, Clemens Drugstore. Craig went on and played at Auburn. He was an outstanding golfer. He won that Troy tournament a couple of times.
I think, I'm trying to think, a guy named Bowles maybe was a good golfer.
Yeah, that's right. And now they got a long driver that's good. A good friend of yours, Mike.
What, out of Opp?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Blasey?
Blasey's from Opp. Yes, sir. Blasey's from Opp. All right, Enterprise, Alabama. Mickey Red was a good one. Tom Cox was good. And Bill, tell us about Bill. Tell them how good Bill Brunson was, and folks listening. Of course, he from Enterprise, grew up in Enterprise, but he lives in Troy for several years here.
He won the big tournament in Panama City, I know, several times.
Oh yeah, he was a very good golfer, and he could strike the ball as good as anybody on the PGA Tour, but he never was a good putter.
Yeah, and you know what? He changed and he started putting left-handed. Did you know that?
Left-handed with a long putter.
Yeah, I know it. But Bill Brunson from Troy, Alabama, was a good golfer. Now, of course, Tom Cox was good. Mickey Red was good. Anybody else?
They were the real stars back in the
60s. And then, of course, Dothan had some good golfers. Who were they?
Well, you had
not as many young golfers as you would think, would you?
Yeah, Tommy Williams was a good golfer. Still is a good golfer. He's 65 years old now.
Yeah.
And the other day he shot his age. He shot his
Oh, man.
So he can still play. And Dr. Lamar Hart, he played at Auburn.
I remember Lamar Hart.
Yeah, Lamar is 70 years old now, and the other day he shot his age.
Golly.
So that's amazing. But yeah, there've been really good golfers coming out of the Wiregrass for years.
Of course, Troy had Warren Hanchy, Dave O'Neill. Now, Sam Robinson came out of Eufaula, but he played on that team there, but he was from Eufaula. Now, we're going to get to Brundage in a minute. Of course, you got to give it, say Barney Burnett. When you say Barney Burnett was one of the great ones to come out of Troy?
Oh, yeah, Barney. And Barney, I'll tell you something funny about Barney. One time I was playing at Brundage in a 4-ball, and Jack Archer was his partner. And Jack,
oh, yeah, now we got to mention Jack Archer.
And me and another guy, and we went to a sudden death playoff on number 1 at Brundage, and Archer snipe hooked one out of bounds, and it was a 4-ball, and Barney hit one down the middle. He said, "All right, I'm sorry, I'm leaving," and he left.
What, Jack did?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
2 of us playing Barney. And I tell you what he did. He tied the first 2 holes, and then the third hole, we won the third hole.
And Jack Archer from Troy had won the Alabama Open before, too, which is the biggest tournament of them all in Alabama as far as...
I've heard he's had terrible health problems.
Yeah.
He's in a nursing home.
Well, I tell you what, and what a great athlete he was. Of course, his father was the great John Archer, the basketball coach for years and so forth. And, of course, we've got several of our golfers, probably the best golfer, one of the top 5 golfers in the state of Alabama right now, the guy named Joey Holly from actually grew up in Elba, but he lived in Troy a long time. We claim him in Troy. We claim that he's from Troy. And I tell him, every tournament you win that, Joey, you tell him you're from Troy, and he does. But, Elba, nice little, you ever play that little 9-hole course in Elba?
Many times, I'll tell you.
Beautiful little old course, isn't it?
Johnny Martin was a great golfer over at Elba. He's left-handed.
Yes, sir.
The state left-handers tournament probably 15 or 20 times. But he was in a car wreck and got crippled, and then he ended up passing away.
But you know what? He lived for several years, 10 or 15 years later, and he still taught golf lessons. He made golf clubs, and every Friday, I want to tell you a little story. Every Friday in Elba, the young guys, I'm talking about 20 to 40 years of age, went to his house every Friday and had a party. Wasn't that a great way? If you're going to be handicapped, you're missing out on a lot of things. But then everybody comes to your house for a party every Friday afternoon.
He was a great guy. There's no question.
No question. And let me tell you, he was also a great receiver and kickoff receiver and place kicker at Elba in football. Went to Florida State as a punter. Punted at Florida State. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That's right. He was a great punter, and also that, of course, one of the all-time greats out of Elba, and I'm sure there have been more than that. But Andalusia, of course, the first name you mentioned, Mike, is your banker in Birmingham.
Yeah,
Richard Anthony, Synovus.
Synovus Bank with Tom Broughton.
Now,
Richard had 2 brothers that were great golfers.
Yeah, and they're both stockbrokers. They made a bunch of money for folks in Troy. I know that the Anthonys have. Because you know who the maiden, the Anthonys, you know who they are, don't you? They're Hendersons that came out of Troy. And Mr. Anthony, of course, was also from Troy, and he married Mrs. Frederick Henderson's sister, and they went and bought the bank in Andalusia and lived in Andalusia all those years. But what I was saying, it all came back around the Henderson family, and then, of course, the Anthony family. Most of those guys live in Birmingham now. But he was one of the best young golfers.
Who were the great golfers out of Dauphin?
We've already mentioned that, Mike. Out of Dauphin. Yeah.
There were a few, but, I think the best golfers were from the small towns around. Most of them had 9-hole courses.
Who founded the big golf tournament, junior golf tournament? As Flowers?
Dr. Thornton.
And then there was another guy named Flowers, too. As Flowers, wasn't it?
As was a golfer down there, a real good golfer.
And and then one of them had a son that was a pretty good golfer, didn't he?
Barry Flowers, and he's in our golf group. I play golf with him.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And, of course, take a look at Brundage, Alabama. Now let's get ready to make a list. Bill Hamrick. All right, Will. Help me, Will. Paul Hudson. And, of course, Mike Hall.
There's several Mobley brothers, though, weren't there?
Ronnie Mobley, the great one, the greatest of them all to come out of Brundage, Ronnie Mobley. And then his cousin, you remember his cousin was a great golfer, moved to Atlanta. He was
good. One of his cousins won the national long driving contest.
That was his brother that won the national long driving. That was my.
No, I don't think Ronnie had a brother. I think that was his.
All right, well, maybe it was his cousin, but he won the long driving contest.
Wasn't there Terry Mobley too?
Terry, that's who I was trying to mention that lives in Atlanta now. Terry was an outstanding golfer at Troy University.
Yeah.
They also sent a guy to the University of Florida, Jimbo something. You know who I'm talking about?
Do not.
And he went to the University of Florida, or either Florida State, but I want to say it was Florida. And but coming out of Grundy, there were some good golfers. Kyle Wallace wasn't a bad golfer either. And
who was the great golfers out of Montgomery?
Oh boy, what a bunch! Well, Matt McClendon was the best. Matt McClendon, isn't that right?
Matt McClendon and Lane Wallach were the best too.
And Lane Wallach, and then of course Peanut Burke. You remember that name?
I remember him and Dr. Hamp.
Dr. Hamp Green was another great golfer, and then the little man who was president of the bank was also a very good golfer. All of them played. Those guys played out of the Montgomery Country Club. How about Gardner out of Bonnycrest, Mike? He and McClendon both. Buddy Gardner was a professional golfer. Played at Auburn. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
You remember him, Will?
I'm going to tell you who the best golfer ever to come out of Montgomery, Alabama. You probably never heard of him.
I know. Wait a minute. I'll tell you who it was. It was the old man, Ed Brown.
The old man. That's right, Ed. And Ed Brown carried his own bag.
Yeah. And he smoked a pack of cigarettes every time he went around, too, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. And I was playing him at Woodley Country Club one time, and we had a sudden death playoff. And Ed Brown hit first on number 10. The golf course doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
The country club doesn't exist. It's all a bunch of houses now.
Yeah, exactly.
But he teed it up on number 10, and he hit a snipe hook out of bounds. He shook my hand. He said, "Congratulations." And then
well, let me tell you, another guy that...
what were the clubs, the nicest clubs to play with back then?
Now, I played with McGregor Wood.
Yeah, you played with the Blonde Club, the Blonde McGregor Wood, is that right?
I played for Selman Woods, and I had Hogan Irons.
And then there was another driver that had the brass on the back of it. You remember the little brass?
All right, those were the Power Build.
Yeah, Power Build, that's what I remember, yeah.
So there was no TaylorMade or Callaway or anything like that back then?
No.
Yeah, but the biggest name back then...
Metal wood. All right, Michael, the first metal wood I ever hit, I was a senior at Vanderbilt, and they just came out with them, and I hit, the first time I hit one, I said, my God, I've never seen anything like this. The ball went 40 yards farther than my McGregor Persimmon.
The name that you wanted to hear back in those days was Wilson Staff. You remember that? The Wilson Staff was one of the top clubs, wasn't it?
They had great irons, but their woods were not good.
They weren't good.
I mean, you did have Titleist golf balls back then, didn't you?
Yeah, I played Titleist.
Yeah, but they all cut. Back in those days, Mike, you see a ball and said, God, that's a brand new ball. You pick it up, got a big old huge cut on it. How long did that last before they got a ball that wasn't cut like that, Will?
It was probably, they came up with the two-place balls probably, I would say 25 years
You never see a ball cut anymore like that. Hey, I used to go out and try to pick up golf balls, and most every one of them you see would be cut real bad.
Well, they quit selling balls.
Will, I want to throw out another name in Montgomery. There was a good friend of mine, and he played right there at, let's see, it was Bonnycrest, it was Montgomery Country Club, and then the one right next to Montgomery Mall. What was it? That we were just talking about, that golf course right next to Montgomery Mall.
Montgomery Mall.
You had the club you were talking about where Ed Brown played that you were playing with.
That was Woodley.
Woodley, all right. The Woodley Country Club had a guy named John Jordan. You remember John Jordan?
I do not.
He was a good player. But, of course, you could go on and on with Montgomery. Now Greenville, William,
Well, you had the Wesleys and the Hancocks.
The Hancocks and the Gilbert and Harold Wesley both played. I want to say they played pro ball, didn't they? Pro golf.
I don't know.
The Hancocks and the Ryans, Jim Ryan and Jim Ryan Jr. Tommy Ryan. And then, of course, the great one with the Hancocks, you had Phil Hancock played on the tour. David Hancock, good friend of mine. It reminds me of another great amateur golfer that was a two-time All-American at Troy was Colin McCrary. And he and David play a lot of four balls together. As a team, they are really tough to beat.
Yeah.
But golf has changed quite a bit. Back in the old days, Mike, every club every year would have an invitational, and back there as a young kid, I used to be a caddy, and that'd make a little money.
Guy that I used to see play a lot at the club, Hunter Hansen. Where was he from?
He was from Troy, related right here in Troy, and of course.
Hunter Hansen and I played high school golf.
That's right, and of course he was a good golfer, and then
the greatest guy ever though in Birmingham is that Sam guy. What's his name?
Oh yeah, Farlow. Is that right, Will? Have you ever played him, Will?
Farlow was good. Yeah, Sam Farlow was a great golfer. He played on the tour.
Will, he and the guy from LaGrange, what was his name?
Alan Doyle.
Or Doyle, never played on the regular tour, to my knowledge, and probably could have made it. Is that right?
Alan Doyle had a driving range in LaGrange, Georgia. And the first time I ever met Alan Doyle, I never heard of him. I was at Wynn Lakes in Montgomery, playing in their tournament. It was a 3-day tournament. And this has been 20 years ago. And the first 2 days, I shot 270s. And I was 4 under par for the tournament. And the next best score was 145, which was 1 over. And he was at 145 with one other guy. So we're playing the last round together. And the first 2 days, they played it kind of not real far back. Well, the last day, they moved it all the way back, made it hard. And I shot a 75, which for me, from the back tees, was a good round.
Oh, yeah.
Alan Doyle shot a 65 and won the tournament.
Oh, gosh, that's unreal, wasn't it?
I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And the guy...
He also won a senior U.S. Open.
2 of them. He won it twice. But the thing is, his swing was awful. I looked at that swing, I said, my God, that guy's terrible. And I'm going to tell you something. He hit a little hook off the tee, and every shot he hit was right on the button. I mean, it really,
Will,
20 years later, he turned pro.
Yeah. Will, did you ever play in that, probably the best invitational tournament, Mike, in the state of Alabama? Probably still is today. It's the 3-day tournament in Selma. Will, did you ever play in that tournament?
I did. I never did any playing in it.
But now, Mike, in Selma, Alabama, it's probably at one time, one of the great golf towns of Alabama. When you say that, the Gleasons and the Smiths. You played against Smith, didn't you?
I played against him.
Now, he was on the tour, wasn't he?
Yeah, Mike Smith. In fact, he won Las Vegas one year.
You tell a story about you and Bill playing against Mike Smith and somebody else. Tell us that story.
Well, they had a thing called the Challenge Cup, and Bill Brunson and I made the Challenge Cup. We played for the amateurs. It was like a match play thing, and they threw us in against Mike Smith and some other guy that had played the tour, thinking we're going to get...
It wasn't our guy from Defuniak, was it?
No, it was somebody. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, we beat them 9-0.
You and Bill Brunson.
Yep, I beat whoever the other guy was 3-0. Brunson beat Mike Smith 3-0.
Did you know Mike Smith died? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm almost positive. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's deceased now. But he was a great player. The Gleasons, you remember the Gleasons?
There were some brothers in Selma that were real good, all of them.
Burns,
yeah.
Those Burns guys were good. I mean,
Burns, Stanley Burns.
Yeah, exactly.
Stanley Burns.
So when you played in all these tournaments, Will, how much money did you have on the side every time you played?
They had these Calcuttas, Michael.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
your daddy was big into Calcuttas, wasn't he?
I mean, I was playing these tournaments when I was in high school, college, and when I was young, But I'll tell you this: there was a man named Sadie in Montgomery.
I know who you're talking about.
And the year I won the Woodley tournament and beat Ed Brown in the playoff, Mr. Sadie told me, son, you go in that pro shop and buy you a set of irons on me. He bought me a set of irons.
Yeah.
So there's no telling how much money.
He had a sidekick too. It wasn't just him. It was Sadie and
I don't know.
his son. One of them's son.
You know, they say when Mickelson plays, you know, with groups before tournaments, you know, they play, you know, different groups: Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, Dustin Johnson, Mickelson, even Tiger, like side bets when they play practice rounds. They say that gets up into the $100,000 range sometimes.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
It's really
crazy.
It is crazy.
Golf has changed, but it still is one of the great sports ever. And you know, I never have played well, but I've always loved golf, and I love watching golf, and I love being sort of a you know, being around it. You know, I like to go to Calcutta's and watch. I went to one in Troy the other night. It was really fun to watch these guys.
Mike, I've got a trophy in my house, and on the trophy, as I retired the trophy, I won this tournament 3 years in a row when I was at Bank.
All right, I'm gonna say, was it Lou Verne? Was it Lou Verne?
No, Ozark in place. I won Lou Verne 3 times in a row too, but they gave silver out.
Yeah.
And anyway, Warren Hatchie's on that trophy twice.
Yeah.
Mickey Red is on that trophy once. Coach Buddy Cranford.
Yeah, Cranford now was a great golfer. I watched him play against Mac McClendon.
My daddy is on that trophy.
Yeah.
He won that tournament one.
Your daddy was he made the Calcutta's work, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
He was really, really good. And of course,
really good at auction.
Talking about old golf, right? He enjoyed
I was watching Stricker play and win the U.S. Senior Open. Stricker looks like a kid out there compared to everybody else. He could probably win 10 tournaments a year on the senior tour if you wanted to.
And you know, he's still playing the PGA tour.
Yeah, he's big and strong.
I mean, he's still competitive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was thinking about a guy just a moment ago. He was a post office guy, rural mail carrier, and he was from Clio. You know who I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Oh gosh, he played football years ago at Troy. What was his name, man? I'll remember in a minute. But was a great golfer.
What are your 4th of July plans, Will?
Oh, I'm going to Pensacola this afternoon, so.
All right,
I'll be back Friday. We're gonna have a little domino game Friday, and then we're getting ready.
Now you had all your golfing buddies down in Gulfport, didn't you? How did that go? Did y'all have fun down there?
Yeah, we did. I played the worst golf I've ever played in my life. I think they didn't have a birdie in 2 days.
Yeah.
What course do y'all play down there?
It's called Wind. Let's see, Wind Creek or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I played that course. I played the course out of Biloxi before, where they played the PGA Tour event. It's real nice.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be.
Wind dance is the one.
Did Dothan have a big fireworks demonstration?
Now they're gonna have it at the Peanut Festival tonight.
Oh, really? That ought to be a big one, won't it? They do it tonight instead of tomorrow night.
There'll be 50,000 people there.
Man, I didn't know that. That's at the.
They'll have all kind of food and rides and all.
And they do it on Wednesday night instead of Thursday night. Is that right?
That's right.
Huh.
Yeah, there's one at Fort Rucker that's a real big one too. They'll have a big crowd.
Now, do they do it on the 4th or when do they do it? Do you know?
I don't know. You just have to check when they do theirs.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a big week. Everybody wants to be real careful.
I've got one prediction to make for you.
All right, go ahead.
I think if Troy wins their game on November 29th, they will be able to go to the Sun Belt Championship.
All right.
Against Appalachian State?
Yeah, it'll be Appalachian State, yes.
Yeah, and it's going to be in Troy. And if they win that game, they'll go to the
well, if they win it, they should be able to host the championship in Troy, too.
Right.
Will, I want to remind you that Jim Jackson just bought the Ford dealership Now it's Jim Jackson Chevrolet and Jim Jackson Ford on the bypass. What do you think about that?
Well, he's doing like John Gillen in Ozark. John Gillen owns the Ford and the Chevrolet.
That's right. That's right. And you know John Gillen's wife, you know who she was? She was a Mooneyham from Troy, a Mooneyham.
Yeah, now her sister's married to Kenny Pinker.
That's right, exactly. Great people, no question
And their
about it.
daughter, Tracy Gillen.
Yeah, that's right, no question. They didn't know they were going to be on TV today, did they? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you so much watching our show today. And, of course, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Will, thank you so much for being on the show today. That was fun. Will? All right, Mike, you still on?
He's off.
Yeah.
Are we on commercial?
Yeah, we're on commercial.
Man, this
I
is
reckon we are. Wait a minute. I thought we are, but wait a minute. I thought we were.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town & Country Flooring Center.
Do you want a good truck driving job? Do you want to drive for the best? Then drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We have good benefits. We have good home time. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. We match your 401k up to 4%. You can start in a 401k retirement plan after 30 days of employment. You need to drive for Wiley Sanders Truck Line. It's time for you to think about you and your family's future. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. $1,000 sign-on bonus? These guys did.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. We want to apologize. We got a little mixed up on our time system, but everything is go.
We just heard about the history of golf and the wiregrass of Alabama.
Yeah, it's sort of fun. And some folks would like that, and some folks wouldn't. But old golfers over the years would loved it. And you know, Colin McCrae is a real good friend of mine. And of course, is a stockbroker here in town, and of course. Been in the business a long time, and we appreciate him so much. And of course, you know, he was a two-time All-American at Troy. But Mike, there's a golf course south of Troy. At one time, was one of the top golf courses around, and one of the great old pros of all time designed it. And we used to play there a lot. And they used to have a lot of tournaments there, a lot of college tournaments. And I think no telling how many times Colin won that tournament. It was you know, some people have a golf course they just are better than anybody else on, and he was better than anybody else on that golf course. I want to say he won 3 or 4 championships at that golf course. But the layout of that golf course is one of the best in this part of the country, and it's located. I don't know what they call it. It used to be Cottonwood, and they've had several. Rolling Hills was at one time when it was really they had some big college tournaments there.
People used to play up in Montgomery that course all the time too.
That's right.
Airhead, is that still there?
Yeah, Airhead's still a good golf course. Yeah, that's located right there.
I mean, everybody says Cameron Ridge is one of the prettier golf courses in Greenville. I've still never played there.
Oh, that's the Trent Jones golf course. A beautiful golf course. Cameron Ridge is gorgeous.
I'd say the prettiest course I've ever played at and been to that nobody really talks about that much is that Limestone Springs, the Jerry Pate course up in Aniana.
Aniana.
Pretty good ones you ever see up in the mountains. It's gorgeous.
And there's another one over in Sylacauga that's real good too. Farmland.
Farm Links, yeah.
And it's a wonderful golf course.
You can actually rent cabins out there at Farm Links and actually stay on the grounds. It's beautiful out there.
And let me tell you this: some good friends.
That's the Purcell Farms family.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. One of the golf courses that is becoming tennis and golf is becoming very popular in Birmingham, and it's because people can afford to, some of these country clubs are just out of sight, what you have to pay to get in these clubs. But this is Pine Tree, is a outstanding golf course.
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends that are members out there now.
Well, your brother and your sister is out there now. And a lot of her yuppie friends,
Yeah, it's close to a lot of people in Mount Brook, and a lot of people have joined it out
for
there.
Tennis, Bobby Howard, a good friend of mine.
A lot of people can't join the Birmingham Country Club. That's about $80,000 a year or something.
No, not a year. One time fee. That's what it is. A one-time fee, but then they charge you by the month. But it is a wonderful place, and Pine Tree is a nice place too, especially if you'd like to play tennis. They have some of the best tennis facilities around. A friend of mine, Bobby Howard.
Birmingham's a huge tennis place. I remember when I used to work at Howard Golf Course downtown, and they had unbelievable tennis facilities there that tons of people would come play.
Now that course is located right downtown, and
when I was there, they had Tiger Woods with the first tee program. That was going on. And then they had Graham McDowell playing at UAB, so he would come out there every day because that's where UAB practiced.
How good was he watching hit practice balls? How good was he?
He was incredible. I mean, Tiger Woods, I saw him. He was out there doing the first tee program. I mean, when Tiger Woods was, the greatest thing on earth. Basically when he was winning all the majors and winning all the tournaments. I'll never forget they had the first tee program out there, and it was sponsored by Outback Steakhouse. So Outback Steakhouse came out there and was grilling steaks and doing blooming onions and all that out there at the course. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Mike, before we go, hey, the ribs at Hooks is as good as you're going to find anywhere. Now, if you don't want to cook your ribs yourself, buy your ribs from Hooks today. Buy your barbecue from Hooks. Buy your potato salad from Hooks. Your buns, you can get them from Hooks. Your sweet tea, you can get them.
Pound cake.
That's right, and your pound cake. And go ahead and just buy from them, pick it up, and take it out to the tailgate.
Yeah,
and
my
have a good time.
was nice enough. She bought a slab and a half from Dreamland. She brought down.
Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Well, let me tell you this. Thank goodness for Hooks Barbecue, and we've got it right here in Troy. Delicious
it's amazing in Troy,
Now, Sisters is closed. Sisters has been closed all week. Now, I want everybody to know, Sisters has been closed all week. Be open back up on Sunday, I believe. Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I'm just saying barbecue is a huge thing in Troy, but I think they're down to one barbecue place since Country's closed down. I know they got the place out on 231.
Yeah, that's right. The one out on 231 claims that they're one of the best in the world, Mike.
Well, I know, but I'm just talking about in Troy, I guess,
exactly.
Hooks is it pretty much right now, isn't it?
Now, Mike loves barbecue, ladies and gentlemen, as much as anybody. But let me tell you, that little place between Prattville and Tuscaloosa, they call it Jim's World Famous Barbecue. Believe you me, it is that good. Don't you agree, Mike?
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. They stack it up on that bun about that thing.
I tell anybody, I said, if I had the chance to go that way, I would go just to get barbecue.
Well, that's the reason I go up 82 is to go there when going to an Alabama game. Jim's World Famous Barbecue.
I guess that would be. I mean, if I go to Alabama games now, I guess I would go back up 82 again now. So I probably would maybe go. Well, I don't know. I'd probably go stay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back to see.
I'd probably stay in Birmingham at my mother-in-law's and probably drive over that next day from Birmingham, I guess.
We'll have some shows on tomorrow and on Friday. Some of our better shows, and we'll run them.
Well, you can have Chip Lindsey on, and you can have Scott Cross on. Those will be two
That's
good
right.
ones.
That's what we'll do. We'll have them on. And then back on Monday, Mike, football season's in. Football season's in the week that starts after the 4th. That's when everybody starts getting ready, Mike. What do you think?
These poor high school kids finally get a week off.
That's right. They get a week off.
Glad.
I hope you have a great week, 4th of July. Be careful if you're traveling. Be careful if you're playing with fireworks. Be careful. Make it a great family outing, the 4th of July.
If you're in water, swimming, be careful. Always watch your kids.
No question about it. No question about it. We love you. We're glad you watch our show. You folks on Facebook across America, across the world. Hey, we're laid back today in L.A. Have a happy 4th.